What's up everyone, my name is Al from GamesRib, and today we're taking a look at another Shindougo collection. By the way, do drop a comment if you do want to see a certain collection. He is pretty much, he's happy to look at what is available and yeah, maybe make your dreams come true. So do drop a comment if there is a collection you want. Anyway, today we're taking a look at Gunstar collection, that's right, one of my favourite games of all time. Funny enough, Treasure even follow me on Twitter, so it'd be interesting to see what they think of this collection. Now obviously it doesn't have the Game Boy Advance title, aka Gunstar Heroes Future. Yeah, unfortunately that isn't in this collection, but there is no, as far as I'm aware, Game Boy Advance emulation available on the system. So apart from that, we got Game Gear, we got Beatz Rage and Genesis, all in the collection, including adverts and all the other goodies. Let's take a nice little deep dive into Gunstar collection for the Sega Dreamcast. So yes, this is it. This is the Gunstar Heroes collection for the Sega Dreamcast. Yes, you're probably saying this has finally happened. That's right, it is here. The Treasure classics are all in one big collection on the Sega Dreamcast. Now, obviously there aren't a huge amount of the Gunstar Heroes games, but yes, there are a few of them, and all but one are playable here. Now, first of all, let's take a look at the music area. That's right, there are soundtracks here, and again, it will work flawlessly, as you're about to see. This is some good stuff. For me, this is what really makes these collections so damn good. It brings all of the different types of media really into one collection. So if you are a fan of something or a series or a franchise like Gunstar Heroes, you're going to want to grab this. Like I said, I've been a long time fan, although no one really knows that about me, but I am. Let's take a look now at the video section, aka the trailers. Another one. This just, it doesn't stop giving. Okay, so let's take a look at actually some of the games here. That kind of makes sense, right? Let's take a look at some of the games here. So yes, that's right, we've got the Beatz Rage title, we've got the Genesis game, and then we've also got the Game Gear game. That's right, you probably didn't expect to see this here because it was a Japanese only release. That's right, playable in this collection. Now the Genesis area does obviously have the original game, PAL versions, etc. and some hacks as well. But let's take a look at the first title and see exactly how well this emulates. Because in the past, we've seen some dodgy emulation with the Genesis, but is this any better? Let's take a look. Okay, albeit a couple sound glitches here and there, I think you cannot deny this is running superb. This is what I expected when I see a Genesis game or Mega Drive game running on the Dreamcast. This is running, I don't know if it's 60 FPS, but it cannot be far off. And yes, there was a couple sound glitches earlier, but I can say, at this point, you probably can't hear them, right? Because wow! That's all I've got to say with this. If you're a fan of the Gunstar Heroes games,
this is probably the way you remember it, right? It's just running how you'd expect. Controls work absolutely great, as you'd expect for any Genesis game, really, on the Dreamcast. It just works absolutely fantastic. But for me, the sound and the speed is the thing that seems to always go wrong. Here, though, you cannot deny it's working exactly how you'd expect it. Yes, this is also 2-player, so you can play co-op as well. So get a chum, play a bit of same couch, same room co-op goodness with Gunstar Heroes on the Sega Dreamcast. This really does blow my mind. I'm so glad that this collection was done, because for me, this is a love letter to my childhood. Oh, this is fantastic. This really is fantastic. So yes, this was really exciting to me because Gunstar Heroes on the Game Gear we never actually saw in the Western areas. It was always a Japanese release. Until now, available to play on your Dreamcast. And to be fair, I actually think this is a really good port. The port of, Gunstar Heroes onto the 8-bit system. I think it's actually a cracking looking port. Yes, to be fair, you can see it's really stuck with the characteristics of the 16-bit version, but in 8-bit, even the gameplay itself really isn't that few and far between what the actual 16-bit version is. I think this is absolutely fantastic, especially with the limitations of the hardware. It actually runs really, really quickly. The emulation here as well is actually very, very good. To be fair, pretty much bang on how it actually plays on the Sega Game Gear itself. Yes, the controls, because it's only a 2-button system, it's all you need, jump and fire. There's really not much else you really need for this. So ultimately, this was just kind of to showcase and show you exactly what the Game Gear version looks like, because let me tell you, this really is a joy to play. And like I said, a lot of people may not have even played the Game Gear version. For me, it's a stellar port. So yes, this is the Beatz Rage Gunstar Heroes Z, which kind of brings a collection of characters from the Gunstar Heroes franchise into a Beatz Rage game. Don't get me wrong, the actual start menu actually very reminiscent of the original game, but then we're into Gunstar Heroes Z, the Beatz Rage game, and it's okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best Beatz Rage game. I mean, to be fair, the hit detection isn't too bad. I actually quite like the sprites, although some of them just seem a little bit too large. Almost feels a little bit lazy, if that makes sense. It just, the scope of it just doesn't quite feel right. Don't get me wrong, it's very, very fluid, really, really easy to control. But Christ, is the difficulty maxed up to high heaven when you actually play this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very good at it. Hey, maybe it's just me. Maybe it is just me. But it's great to see again, this does solidify. This is a Gunstar Heroes collection, and I love it. This has got to be one of my favourite collections so far. There are more and more coming, so keep an eye out. If you haven't already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment. What would you like to see as a collection on the Dreamcast? That's my question.
So to me, this collection really did hit the mark. The reason I say that is all the emulation just seems to work. Everything about it just seems to work. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's the key to a good collection. We have seen other collections where the emulation is not quite there, they were using the wrong emulator, etc. But this one really hit the spot. So if you're a Gunstar fan just like myself, you're going to probably love this. Like I said, you know, very often, or not very often, do we get to play Gunstar on the Game Gear, because that's a Japanese release. You know, so this collection really is amazing to me. Let me know what you think. As always, like, comment and subscribe. It's Al signing out.